Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Ricky with Full and Prime Profit. Hope you guys are all having a good morning. I actually saw someone say it's like not good morning, but bad morning due to the huge pullback that we're experiencing right now with everything Facebook, PayPal, Amazon. I don't see anything that isn't pulling back. Let me check. Amazon pulled back, lost 2%. Let's see, Netflix. Yeah, absolutely everything. So, um, I I am personally one thing that I think I'm going to talk about, kind of like the approach that I'm taking today. First of all, I got back into my GDS position. For those that follow me on Instagram, GDS pushed up and it started showing signs of recovery. Pushed up to above $31, locked it in at 31. It started to sell off and it started to consolidate. I bought back in and it's been downtrending ever since. So I'm back down in the red. But the thing that I want to talk about today is it's kind of a little bit more of I'm not trading any like low cap stock. I'm not trading anything that offers a very strong downtrend or anything of that sort. So I'm still pretty confident with what it is that I'm investing in. Actually, I'm a little bit more motivated to take positions on Facebook and Shopify and those companies that have been showing signs of an aggressive ascending uptrend pattern and be able to take advantage of that good deal. For GDS, this one's a little bit different just because I did want to focus on this one to be a little bit more of a short-term swing trade. But obviously with this rejection that it's experiencing, I know that it's just due to the market. Like, the thing that I want you guys to take into consideration is if you guys want to cut losses, cut losses. There's no question about that. But the thing that I'm trying to make sense of or understand is, the overall market is pulling back, right? So there's a lot of hype, there's a lot of sell-offs, and I want to make sure that I'm not someone that sells at the very bottom. So as long as we have that understanding, then I need to make sure that I understand the type of quality of stock or investment that I'm taking a position on. So that's the easiest way that I can put it for a lot of the companies that I would consider going long on, such as like Facebook, such as Shop, such as PayPal. Those are not companies that I think are going to die out. Even if they pull back 10%, let's say, even today, right? I think within a matter of time they will recover just due to the type of quality company that they are. GDS is a little bit different. GDS is more of a short-term kind of swing trade that I was looking into, but I still don't want to sell at the very bottom. And I think the pattern that it offers is pretty strong, right? So because of that, I feel somewhat comfortable holding it, and that's something that I'm willing to risk, right? And that's what I wanted to answer. Like, I want to ask you guys what it is that you guys want to do. Should we focus on breaking down stocks and really starting to do technical analysis? I really don't think many of you guys want to do that. You guys know how the market is doing right now. I think something that would be a little bit more effective is asking open-ended questions about kind of what's going on right now, and maybe how to overcome this. So yeah, also, you guys also have to take into consideration, so for a lot of those ETFs, such as the ones that are based on crude oil, / CL did have an aggressive sell-off. I wouldn't necessarily say, I think that the market could have acted as a catalyst to drive it down, but I also think that / CL was also a little bearish, just due to the rejection that it kept having. If you guys look at / CL on the 180-day 4-hour analysis, you can see that the overall estimate indicator is showing signs of a curling pattern. And because of / CL, you get it? Yeah. / CL, you can definitely take into consideration that, UWT, Gush, WTI, what is it, FTR, all these that are influenced by the crude oil industry are also negatively impacted by that. So, okay, so let's do a Q&A. Yeah, that's and you guys have. I'm still willing to do like call outs and stuff like that. So let me just make sure before I start filming that my screen is showing. Okay, I don't want that to happen again.
So let's check.
Ah. Okay. There we go. All right. You guys love laughing at me. Okay, so and if you guys want to joke around and stuff like that, feel free to watch yesterday's video. That was a that was different. But yeah, GDS as of right now looks like it's still getting rejected by this EMA line. Looks like it had a really nice push up, and that's when I first initially locked in my profits. Right, started selling off, tried to buy the bounce around this general area, continued to sell off, and that's why I'm currently down on my position. So even the profits that I made, a little bit over $300, were all washed off, and I'm back in the red because of this sell-off that I had. So it hit lows of $28. Based on pre-market hours, so that's definitely something that I'm taking into consideration, but not too worried about that. Also, I thought I was doing good. Right as the market opened, I got in at around 179.23, if I'm not mistaken, on that Fidelity account. It pushed up, was up like a little percentage for that smaller account for Fidelity. Pushed up, got rejected by the top view up. Did not see the sell-off coming. Not only did it break, lows for the pre-market lows, but it hit lows of 174. That's not something that I have seen Facebook do in the past couple of weeks, right? So a little discouraging, right? And I can totally see where it is that you guys are coming from. For those that have a lot of money invested in maybe something like Facebook, something like PayPal, something like Shopify, all of these things pull back, right? All of them are trading in between the middle and bottom view up, mainly that bottom view up, right? Another one can be PayPal, huge sell-offs. That is why I'm personally going to put a little bit more money aside to be able to buy these kind of like dip buy opportunities and stuff like that. So if you guys have any open-ended questions, let's go ahead and cover it, and we can kind of go from there. So I think that would be a good focus for this live stream for today. So why are all the weed stocks going up? I have no I'm not kept up to date with anything that has to do with the marijuana industry. Yeah, I think this is a really good question. So this is from Lolo the God. So when there's so much volatility, do you put much less weight on indicators and more weight on patterns? I would put So I like that. So more focus would be more on. I think the indicators would be less relevant because indicators have to do more with like technicals, and a lot of technical traders like to trade based off of these series of indicators. I would it's difficult to say because a lot of these like why is it that PayPal caught at around $85, right? Like we could still focus like once this like sell off ends up dying out, we could go back to the basics of the indicators and focusing on the reversal and stuff like that and focusing on those patterns. But something that also you want to take into consideration is that when these aggressive sell-offs are happening, there's a lot of emotions that are put into place, a lot of hype, right? So it's kind of like a momentum trade. It's kind of just like uncontrolled. Obviously, with these larger companies, it's a little bit more controlled in the aspect that it's much more difficult to move something like this. But I think as long as you still continue to focus on the very basics of waiting for the reversal, making sure that you're trying to get in for a good deal. Anything can happen because, again, if a sell-off happens right as it's approaching that middle view up and it continues to sell off again, then that's not necessarily something that you're going to be able to, really predict or anything like that, right? If certain news or there's a negative catalyst, again, that drives the price down, again, not a huge, it's just you're going to have to be quick, right, when it comes down to trading with those specific tickers. Let's see. What kind of stocks will you buy when the overall market is down? I mean, I don't want to focus on kind of like what I'm buying and stuff like that. Like that's not going to be really like very vital, right, to you. I would rather focus on like let's say the qualities. I like to focus on much more stable companies, very reputable companies that had aggressive sell-offs. Again, it's just focusing on trying to get in for a good deal, and we're talking about Facebook. I could use Facebook, for example. This is not something to encourage anyone to take positions on Facebook of that in any sort. But, taking Facebook into consideration, how big of a company it is, its overall just earnings and revenue, and it's the direction that they are taking Facebook. I think it's something that, big picture is something that's most likely going to continue to grow in value. So these dip buy opportunities when there's aggressive sell-offs and stuff like that, that's what I see as opportunity. So I'm trying to focus a little bit more about big picture, and that's so within the next couple of weeks even. I'm talking about like a couple months down the road, and that's kind of like the approach that I want to be taking when it comes down to these larger positions or these larger companies that I'm going to be investing in. Would you buy JNEG at this time? No, if I'm not mistaken, JNEG is at $8 now, right? Yeah, so JNEG is aggressively selling off. So I'm sure that all those people that are invested in JDST are super happy, right? So let's just also understand that it's very overextended. So congrats to all those that have been investing in JDST. It's up over 16% on the day. It's ridiculous, right? It's huge. So there's nothing that we can like say negatively about this. It's just, I would, if I was invested in JDST, I would lock in profits. There's no question that it's very overbought. And I do think that JNEG is very oversold, but there's no proper indication. So yes, this thing can continue to uptrend as well. So it was just something that we'll have to follow up with. All right. Yeah, I think that's a decent that's a good approach. So this is from Grim789. So do you think that it's a smarter decision to wait till the market stabilizes more for those to swing trade since we are under the PDT rule? I think overall confirmation is key, right? By me taking a position on something like Facebook, I'm not going to just take a position on Facebook. Like, let's say I plan to invest $50,000 or $100,000 into Facebook. I'm not going to just take a $100,000 position right now, right? With the understanding that, it's still selling off. I'm trying to focus on getting in for a good deal, and there's a lot of margin that it has to recover. So an approach that I'm taking is adding to my position as it continues to uptrend, right? So I'm getting in for a good deal, but I'll add more to my position as it continues to break resistance levels. Like, that's the approach that I want to take with these series of companies that I'm going to be investing in. So do I think it's key to wait for the confirmation of the reversal? Yes, I think you should focus on getting a good deal and making sure that you're investing in something that's actively trending up or showing signs at least of a reversal. So I think that's a pretty good question. Right, you cracked me up. So I just lost 2K plus today. What do you do on this when you're down and bounce back? Like daily activities. Yeah, Reese, it's definitely a I mean, if we're talking about how much it is that we're down, I'm down roughly around what it is that you are, because my position sizes again are I don't know if they're much bigger than yours or anything like that. I don't know what percentage it is that you're down, but just to put it into perspective, me buying at like 29.50, right? And then having this aggressive sell-off. Oh, I'm sorry, not 29.50. What was it? 30.50, right? And then at the price point that it's at right now, I'm down about 5%, right? But 5% for a, let's say, nearly $30,000 position, we're talking about a couple $1,000s in the red. So it is discouraging. It is sometimes upsetting. But the thing that I'm trying to make sense of is like everything is pulling back right now. And I'm not invested in anything that was aggressively descending, right? I mean, the overall big picture of GDS was showing signs of an uptrend pattern, recently sold off, and then because of its earnings, it sold off as well. But it was showing signs of a potential reversal. So I just have to be a little bit more patient with this, especially with the overall market conditions and how they're performing right now. So I would just first understand what it is that you are trading, and make sure that it's not something that was extremely risky. And if you have that and you can make sense of that, then I would focus a little bit more with your daily activities. It's honestly still an area of opportunity for myself, because these guys that I live with know that every time that I have like a bad day or a red day, it does still get to me sometimes, right? Or a majority of the time. It's still an area of opportunity for myself. So one thing that I think that continues to motivate me is that the understanding that we still have years, right? Years and years to continue to grow our accounts, to continue to make money with investing and refine ourselves as traders. And I want to make sure that I don't just let one day that is a pretty bad day discourage me, because although I might be down maybe a couple $1,000s, I've had days where I've been up a couple $1,000s. So as long as you know that there's always these pros and cons, what is it that you could have done better and to prepare for something like this. And you also have to understand that you could not have predicted this sell-off that it had with overall, but with that the market had, which is something that's it's an uncontrolled variable, right? So that's not something that you should be upset about. It's just something that happens when investing in a market, right? What happened? Was there someone that said something?
Yeah, foul language.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Who was it?
The guy attacked.
Huh?
The guy attacked.
Well, what did he say?
He's like, shut the fuck up, here.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. All right. For those that are not already invested in the market, that is like how the current market condition is right now, we don't know if it's going to continue to sell off. So you could see kind of how a lot of people are reacting right now with the sell off and how discouraged someone can get. So rather than trying to get in at the best entry point, I would focus a little bit more on being patient with your entries. If I was not already invested in GDS, I would focus more on waiting for a reversal and waiting for more of a proper indication of a reversal of pattern, and not trying to force a trade right now, because the sell-offs can continue to happen. Well, Jenny, yeah, that's and we can't say always, right? But Jenny has a pretty good point. So I don't know if you guys remember my friend Nick that just left yesterday, but something that he was doing really well was focusing on ascending uptrend patterns. And the reason that we had that huge focus for him was due to the understanding that if something is continuously showing signs of an ongoing uptrend, right? Even for like Facebook. Um, let's say Facebook shows signs of an ongoing uptrend, right? Even if you bought it at the very peak right here, right, at around, let's say, $203, and it sold off, right? It sold off, you lost whatever it is that you lost, and then it reverses due to this overall pattern in the direction that this stock is moving. Eventually, due to its previous patterns of this ascending uptrend pattern, it's just a matter of time for it to recover. So that's the point that she's trying to make. If we focus more on quality companies and ascending uptrend patterns, we can't say always, but we can say a majority of the time, it's just a matter of time for it to actually recover. And that's definitely a reason why we've been trying to shift our focus from lower cap stocks to more stable companies, because a very common mistake that a lot of new traders make is bag holding. But it would make much more sense to hold something that at least has the potential to recover, and not something like TOPS where it'll continue to descend into getting delisted. So I think one of the best time frames. So that's a pretty good question, because that's really good that you bring that up. So like, what's the best time frame to kind of like review right now? I think the 180-day analysis is a good time frame to have a general understanding of the overall direction, the common direction or the usual direction of the specific stock or company or ETF or whatever it is that you're trading. But it would make more sense to focus on shorter time frames to kind of understand kind of where this has been heading for the past maybe week, 10 days, 20 days, and stuff like that. More relevant patterns. So we want to understand the overall big picture, but we also want to be a little bit closer to kind of where it's trading right now. So yeah. Yeah. So I guess this is a pretty good question. So like, what indicators would I use um, to have a better understanding that it's completely sold off? I think it has to do, like right now that we're having aggressive sell-offs, like it's going to be time. Time is going to be of the essence because all this hype and all these like aggressive, like, just people that are selling off need to die out, right? But with the understanding that you understand that it comes down to pattern and direction. If you understand that, if you understand the pattern and you understand the direction of the company and you understand that you're getting a good deal, then that's what I find the most important. Because even with these aggressive sell-offs, if it doesn't matter, like if you're getting a good deal, then that's what's most important to me. And what indicators would I focus on? It's usually the SMA indicator that I find the most effective to understand what direction this current stock or ETF is currently heading on the big picture charts, and that would be an area of opportunity or something to review. Just because as of right now, a lot of these stocks, because of their aggressive sell-offs, are now like trending below the SMA indicator, which is not something that they usually do. So yeah, I mean, it's hard to say as of right now. It would just be more of a giving it more time for it to consolidate. So again, if we're talking about the 3 stages of a reversal, there's the rejection, which is kind of what we're going through right now. We're going to need to give it time to consolidate, and then when it begins to reverse back up, again, just sticking to the very simple pattern of waiting for it to start making higher highs. Mickey, you cracked me up. That's funny. Let's see. All right. Oh. When waiting for the confirmation, do you look at any other time frames other than the 180-day chart? So yeah, I mean, I want to make sure that on the 180-day chart, it starts to still indicate signs of a reversal. But looking at shorter time frames as like the 20-day 1 hour is something that I keep a very close eye on. And also, I mean, the 1 day 1 minute, I want to make sure that even intraday it's showing signs of a reversal. So yeah. I legit have not heard Ricky say a full sentence even once. What do you mean? Have I not?
I think you have.
Yeah. Don is a dingleberry, period. Do you short stocks? Samir, you should know this by just covering the course or have watched any of my videos. I do not short stocks, no. Yep. You cracked me up, Momo. Alrighty. You are good at speaking, Ricky. Appreciate that, Joel. Thank you. All right. I was going to take this time to kind of catch up on messages just because I got a lot of messages overnight. I feel like you guys think that I stay up very late. We have people that message me at like, this is like the funny thing. We have people that message me at like 2 or 3 in the morning for my time. And then if I don't respond in an hour, they're like, question mark, question mark, question mark. I'm just like, dude, I don't get that. But yeah, one thing that I would do is first of all try to control. All right, so let's go back to just one thing that I would do. So one thing that I would do is understand what it is that I'm trading. If I'm trading something that's actively trending down and showing signs of a full-on reversal and it's going to start downtrending, I would consider the idea of cutting losses, right? How would I go with my day moving on forward for those that have experienced like a huge loss, right? I would focus on learning more about long-term investments and how if you've been focusing so much on short-term day trades or really focusing on lower cap stocks that are showing signs of a downtrend, or you just have not experienced the highest success rate because we've been focusing more on short-term gains, then I would really have you consider the idea of taking today just a small portion of your day, maybe 30 minutes to an hour, and to review why more long-term investments are so important and the qualities and criteria that someone should have when investing in those. Just keep it that simple. Control what your investments are currently, if you want to cut losses, if you want to lock in profits, whatever the case may be, and then take the rest of the day doing something that you really like. So one thing, I'm down, right? I've said it multiple times. I'm down a couple $1,000s, and I'm generally not upset right now though, because I know that the market is pulling back. So I know when the market pulled back during pre-market hours, I shared it with everyone, right? I was like, hey, lock in profits or be sure to cut losses. I was talking about the pullback, and then it started to recover, and I thought that was great. So that's why I locked in profits, right? But because everything is pulling back, I know that it's kind of just part of the roller coaster, right? So I am going to take the rest of the day to catch up on messages, do my daily tasks. There's a couple things that I have to do for the new house, but I'm probably gonna go wash my car, right? I'm probably gonna go get some canes. Maybe something that we can do is make someone else's day, right? Talk to other people that might not be in their best situation. For everyone that is watching this video, you guys most likely, regardless if you guys consider yourself maybe not to be in the best position in life, there's most likely, again, you're part of Learn, Plan, Profit. There has to be people that are doing much, right, worse than you. We are all truly blessed. So with that understanding, if you're truly having a really just bad day, I would reach out to someone in effort to make their day better, right? And actually not just do something I'm not going to just be going around and giving a homeless person $100, right? But one thing that I can do is, if I really want to understand their struggle and what got them to that point, then maybe sit down with them and talk to them, and then maybe compensate them for their time or something like that, right? But again, to understand what got them to that point, if there's anything that I can do to better assist them and to make sure that you understand that we are all so blessed, right? Regardless if you're religious or not, we have to take into consideration the position that we are in life, and the luxury that we have, and the opportunities that we are given to be able to make money by investing money, and it's something that we all have the power to do. So let's just make sure that we don't let one day discourage the rest of our lives, that we control what it is that we are doing right now, and making sure that we always look at what we can do that's a little bit better. So trust me, it sucks. I'm being positive, right? And it's just because it has to be just has to do with your mindset. It sucks to be down. It sucks to be red. But you also have to understand that there's much bigger issues in life. So and yeah, that's really just it. So if you guys have any questions or anything like that I can do to better assist you, please let me know. I'd be more than happy to assist you. If you guys want to meet up at Cane's and want to cry together, I'm 100% down, right? But yeah, let's have fun with what it is that we do, and let's just make people's day when our days aren't going the best, and overall we'll feel much better. So thank you guys again for your time, and if there's anything that I can do to better assist you, please let me know. So yeah, I'm gonna go wash the dishes because that makes me feel better. No, I'm not gonna wash the dishes when I'm upset. It's the last thing I want to do. It's like doing my laundry. All right, guys. Thank you guys again so much for your time. I hope you guys have a beautiful rest of your Wednesday. I really do appreciate everything it is that you guys do. I think I'm definitely going to do some kind act of, what is it called? Act of kindness today. And maybe I'll catch it on video and post it on my Instagram if you guys want to see that. But I think that's something that we could all do today. Just imagine we have a couple thousand members within our group. Just imagine the amount of kind actions that we could have within our communities. So let's do good. Thank you guys again for your time. Like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take it easy, team.